Things are about to change. I'm now gonna have to be a bit more ruthless. Brand new Marcus Hayes calendar. Ultimate fast road Mark 1 Cortina. But yeah, you know, the plan is break Esther, getting out of my other garages. Things are about to change with regards to how and where I'm going to be able to work on my cars in the future, and ultimately how and where I'm going to be able to create content for this channel. These changes are well overdue, to be honest, because my current situation isn't ideal, with 2 out of the 3 garages that I've got being a 40-minute drive away. But these changes are now a bit more certain and need to happen quite urgently because of my mum's recent death. And I'm going to explain in this video how exactly my mum's death is linked to how I'm able to work on my cars and stuff. Now, if you're a regular viewer of my content, please do me a favour now and click like on this video because it's a huge help. Alternatively, if you're new to the channel, click subscribe now and welcome. I'm Marcus Hayes, and it's fair to say that my life is utterly dominated by my love of my cars, as you can see by my quite busy living room. Now, our living room is always quite busy, but at the moment it is a bit more busy than it is sometimes, because part of the changes that I'm now going to have to make is to be a bit more ruthless with digging parts out to sell on eBay. Now that we're into a new year, it means I'm able to pull out my brand new Marcus Hayes calendar. And I thought it'd be a cool idea to give the cars that are featured in this year's calendar a mention each month as we go through 2025. So if you're one of the guys that has got your cars featured in this year's calendar, please drop me an email with some extra details about the car and maybe some extra pictures. And then yeah, as I go through the year, I'll be able to use that info and those pictures to give you guys a mention. Now this month, the car featured is Tristram's Zetec powered Mark 1 Cortina. And I was able to find some posts online about Tristram's Cortina, so let me give you some more info about it. Now, Tristram's Cortina is Zetec powered, as I've already mentioned, and it's rocking loads of parts by one of my favourite companies, Retro Ford. And I actually found a post on Retro Ford's Facebook talking about Tristram's Cortina. The post mentions that Tristram is using the Retro Ford Zetec fitting kit, and it mentions how happy Tristram was with the quality of the Retro Ford parts. In this particular picture, Tristram's Cortina is rocking no bumpers, although in the picture he sent me for the calendar, it is. And it's worth noting that the car seems like it's wearing different wheels than in the picture that Tristram sent me. And in fact, I've seen Tristram's Cortina rocking another different set of wheels as well. So it's clear that Tristram likes to switch things up every now and again, which is always cool. I found this picture, which was posted to the Classic Ford Show Facebook page, and I'm guessing that this wasn't taken at the Classic Ford Show because Tristram lives in Australia. But as you can see in this picture, the Cortina is wearing the Group 5 alloy wheels, which are available from Retro Ford. But yeah, the Tina is looking awesome on those rims and out in the Australian sunshine. I found this post on the Retro Ford magazine Facebook page, and it appears that Tristram's Cortina was featured in that magazine. To be honest, I'm not really a magazine man nowadays, so I wasn't aware of this feature, but check out these awesome pictures of Tristram's car. I think this photo shoot may have actually been where Tristram got the calendar entry photo from, although that picture isn't in amongst these ones. but just look how clean this thing is. It's obviously sitting on the mini light rims in these pictures, just like it was in the picture he sent me, and it just looks absolutely mint. I'm loving the stance. It looks like it's been lowered the perfect amount. It's rocking the chrome bumpers and stuff in this look, and yeah, it just looks absolutely beautiful. And just check out the interior. It looks like it's all stripped out without a carpet potentially, but yeah, it just looks clean throughout and everything looks absolutely brand new. I'm not sure whose signature that is on the dash. Maybe Tristram will get in touch to let us know, or maybe one of you guys know. But yeah, it looks like it's running aftermarket gauges. I can see what looks like a sort of cut-off switch and stuff. So, you know, this is a very modernised interior, but it still looks very fitting for the Cortina's cockpit. One thing I really like about this Cortina is, although it's clearly been modified, and there are some really sort of racy modifications like the bonnet pins and the roll cage, all in all, as a package, it looks like it's been really tastefully done with the perfect balance between the race car look and the road car look. So you could say it's the ultimate fast road Mark I Cortina. Oh, the weather is pants. And we've got a flooded path. Dear oh dear. Lenny the Focus, the trusty steed. This thing's actually due an oil change already. I think Cat's had him less than a year, but he's already on 18,000 miles. That's definitely partly my fault. All right, so just chucked some motion potion into Lenny's tank, and we're now actually heading over to my other garages, which are a very inconvenient distance away from where we live. But look, a bit of a backstory. Now, my whole childhood and into early adulthood, I was living in the same flat, my parents' flat, which was just outside West London. And when I got Esther, my Mark I Escort, I started renting a council garage, which my mum applied for. So it was in my mum's name, but I was paying the rent. Then when I got a Mark I Fiesta a few years later, I started renting another garage from the council in that same place, again in my mum's name. And then when my dad got his Mark III Escort and started renting a garage, that was also in my mum's name. Now, about 6 years ago, my parents moved from where we was just outside West London to Northampton. And at that time, I was living with my beautiful girlfriend, Kat, in an area just outside North London. And what this meant was that none of us were entitled to have those garages which are just outside West London. Because they're council garages, you have to live in the area to be able to rent them. So when my mum moved to Northampton, I had to basically pull a few dodgy strings, you could say, to enable me to carry on subletting those garages essentially off of my mum, even though she was no longer in the area. Now, when I say I pulled some dodgy strings, no one got defrauded. The garages, you know, all the rent was paid and stuff. It was just a formality I went through so that we wouldn't have to give up those garages. But realistically, you know, since my parents moved to Northampton, the plan was to eventually get some garages closer to where we're living and give up those garages, which are just outside West London. One of the reasons, or a couple of the reasons why I was kind of reluctant to, is that the council put a gate into the yard, and one of my friends lives in one of the houses where his garden comes out to the driveway up to that yard, and he's got CCTV and sensors and whatnot. So, you know, for security reasons, that might be why I was a bit reluctant to give up those garages. But now that my mum's died, it means I'm put in a position where I'm either going to have to pull certain strings again for me to be able to carry on renting those garages, or ultimately move out of those garages and get something a bit closer to home. Another thing that kind of complicates it is the fact that apparently for about a year, the council had forgot to charge us VAT on these garages. And with me living a life where, you know, through choice, I don't have a ton of disposable money, right? The fact that now they want to overcharge us for the garage rent to reclaim that VAT that apparently they didn't charge us before, you know, that's kind of put a bit of financial strain on me. So yeah, it's another reason why, you know, it'd be financially better if I was to get out of those garages. The other thing is that the garage that we've got at home actually came with Kat's house, so I'm not paying rent on that garage. I'm just paying the rent on the 2 garages over where my other garages are, because we gave up my dad's one, although that's kind of complicated in itself and I don't need to go into that. So ultimately the plan is to move everything over to garages that are closer to home, and the plan actually is to rent out 1 more garage near where we live and just manage with 2 garages, whereas before I had 2 garages over where we're going now and 1 garage at home. So yeah, I hope all that makes sense. But ultimately this all just means that I need to downsize, I need to be more ruthless with selling parts that I don't need. It's all part of the plan, you know, what the plans were anyway, to get rid of Maud, my Maud Mark II Escort, and break her for parts and whatnot. But yeah, you know, the plan is to keep Esther, keep Heidi, break Maud, which is going to give me the space and hopefully mean that I'm able to financially carry on keeping Esther and Heidi. Although the plan for us was after Christmas to reevaluate, you could say, my financial position in terms of the channel, in terms of my other ventures that I've got going on the internet. You know, all these things don't make a ton of money in total and they take a ton of work, but that's absolutely fine. I'm quite happy to carry on working a bit harder than I would be if I was to just give up and go and get a job, and, you know, earn slightly less money than I would if I was to just give up everything and go and get a job, because, you know, I want to continue with my dreams, and, you know, I want to try and, you know, do my best to try and make these things work, right? But ultimately, as I say, right now, you know, now that Christmas is out of the way, we was going to reevaluate and then decide whether I would need to maybe sell Esther as well. I know, you know, it's something that I've always said I never want to do, but, you know, if that was the position I was in to continue, then so be it. So yeah, sell Esther and then carry on with, you know, just with Heidi. It would free up a load of money where I could turn Heidi into more of a beast than she ever otherwise would be. Or one of the other things we were thinking of was I could break Maud and sell her, and keep Esther and keep Heidi, and then maybe go and get myself a job just to bring me up to the springtime. You know, we're now in winter, which means it's harder for me to make content and stuff. So yeah, that was one of the options. Or maybe a combination of both, right? You know, maybe continue making videos on the channel as much as I could, maybe go and get a part-time job, and yeah, just do a sort of, you know, a bit of both. Or maybe even potentially, instead of selling Esther as a complete car, break Esther, use the best bits off of her on Heidi, and then sell the rest. So ultimately I'll be breaking Esther and Maud. So yeah, loads of different ideas that are going around in my head, and the plan was to just reevaluate financially and then sort of decide where we're going to be in terms of moving forward. But now that my mum's died, it means that these changes with regards to getting out of my other garages are now a bit more urgent. But the potential for me to just go and get a job isn't currently possible, because we're now looking after my dad, who's got Alzheimer's, because my mum's not around to care for him. So yeah, it's a bit of a mess. But, you know, you guys that watch the On Track videos on my other channel will know that, you know, I'm quite willing to sort of embrace challenges nowadays and just face them and crack on one day at a time. So it's absolutely fine. It just means that life's a little bit more complicated, and it means that I'm kind of forced to make certain changes in my car life that I probably should have made before anyway. So yeah, I think that explains the whole situation. If you've got any questions about all this, then feel free to put them in the comments or drop me an email. You know, I'm quite willing to be transparent about the whole situation. You know, you guys that follow the channel, you're all part of the journey, aren't you? Some of you guys have been watching for years and years and years, and I've never sort of felt like I need to keep things a secret. But ultimately, as well as dealing with everything else that's making life complicated to do with my mum dying, we do need to make some changes in my life with the cars. Now, the weather is absolutely grim, and the plan was today to continue tidying things up and getting things ready for the inevitable move, which is going to be happening at some point in the near future, and to dig out some more bits to chuck on eBay. But yeah, I really hope this rain stops before we get there. We'll see. All right, so we've been around here at my other garage for about an hour and a half, I think, and it's fair to say that the rain has made things a bit difficult. Ironically, it has stopped raining now, but yeah, we're going to be getting out of here in a minute. But yeah, the last time we came round here, I was able to pull Heidi out of her garage and make a start tidying up this garage. I've got some bits that are inside Heidi. These are sort of escort parts that I'm probably going to need to keep. And yeah, same in the passenger side there, but there's still plenty of room to carry other stuff when we eventually do make the big move. And I've got bubble wrap laid down in there and in the boot area because I don't want to scratch any of the beige paint. Got a couple of her arches here which will just get screwed on before we move, and then I'll probably try and chuck these brake lines back on the car before then as well. But at the back of the garage here, obviously I'm going to have to remove all this wood shelving. You know, you need to give the garages back completely empty. But I did have a ton of parts up here. The ones that I'm keeping are now in Heidi, and the other ones I've started listing on eBay. And yeah, similar story down here. This is all now open where there was a load of parts in there. I've still got a load of parts to sort through over there to get rid of and maybe keep. And then over here, I know it's pretty dark in here, you can't really see very well, but all my paint stuff and things like that I've now put in these plastic trays just to make those easier to move when the time comes. But yeah, there is still a ton to do. I've got a few grills up there, Mark 1 and Mark 2, and up there I've got 2 sets of Mark 2 Escort GL bumpers, which I need to get rid of. And here comes the rain, so we were right to not pull Esther out of her garage and dive into clearing that up as much as I wanted to. But yeah, speaking of Esther, her battery was flat, so I've removed that. We're going to take that home and charge it, and I've just done what I can in here without pulling her out. So I've got some bits down here. I know it's dark, you can hardly see, but some old 1300 Mark II Escort front legs which have got Spax adjustable shock absorbers in them, probably old and worn, but yeah, I'm going to throw them on eBay. Got some steering racks down here, sort of in bits, as well as a steering column. And yeah, if I get further into this garage, yeah, similar story really. The shelves are a bit more empty, but there's still a load of bits that I need to go through. But yeah, next time I come round here, I want to pull both cars out of the garage and really deep dive into clearing things out, finding bits that I need to sell, and just getting everything ready so that when we do move, which is inevitably going to have to happen relatively soon, it should be an easier process. But you know, today my little brother is spending the day with my dad, and we've just got to do things as and when we can because yeah, we are looking after my dad at the moment. And yeah, if we look in the back of Lenny, the Focus, who is on van duties today, I've got another couple of bags of rubbish that we've dug out today, and a couple of boxes of some bits that I'm going to take home and bung on eBay. So yeah, not as much done around here today as I was hoping, but slowly but surely we're yeah, making progress. All right, so after a quick wardrobe change, we've now jumped back into Lenny, and we're actually going to go to Kat's parents today to have some dinner. But yeah, this video was basically me just keeping you guys in the loop with the inevitable changes that are going to be happening moving forward, because I know loads of you guys like to follow the whole story of my life with my cars. You know, you kind of feel like you're part of the story, and that's great. And sometimes that's what keeps me going, because it's not just a channel about an idiot that likes to mess around with cars. You know, it's become a sort of journey that we all get through together. You know, I'm lucky that so many of you guys are interested in what I get up to. I'm lucky that so many of you guys help me out in various ways with what I'm doing, whether it be by just supporting this channel and sending me positive messages, or, you know, to those people out there that literally get involved and help me out. by sending me bits or doing bits for me. So yeah, it's all very much appreciated. And yeah, this video was just me revealing the changes that are going to be coming up very soon, and I'm looking forward to getting all this done and then diving back into cracking on with the cars, you know. However that will look, and however many of the cars that's going to involve once we do get through all these changes. But you know, the fact is, at the moment, there's a lot of other stuff going on in my life, and you know what, that's absolutely fine. I believe that as a man, we are supposed to go through challenges and hardship, and for me certainly, and I believe for most men out there, the real sort of negative times come when you're trying to avoid challenges and hide away from challenges. So yeah, I will crack on, and I hope you guys are going to continue watching me crack on. Oh, I will say as well, I've had some people get in touch asking me how much I want to sell certain parts for that I've mentioned on the channel I am going to be selling. Now, part of however I'm going to move forward means that I need to kind of maximize how much I can sell all these parts for. So because I'm quite useless at pricing things, I am just going to throw a lot of it onto eBay as an auction. Having said that, if you've got a price in mind yourself, then feel free to send me your offer. A couple of people have got in touch asking about the parcel shelf, for instance, that I took out of Heidi and then restored. I will be selling that, and you know, people have got in touch, say how much you want for the parcel shelf, and I've sort of replied and says make me an offer, and then people just reply again and say how much do you want for the parcel shelf. I don't know how much I want for the parcel shelf. I'd rather put it in an auction and see how much it makes, because that's the fairest way to do it. But if you want to make me an offer, you know, then you know, I'm quite willing to take any offers into consideration. So yeah, that's where I am with the parts. I will be posting on my social media to let you guys know what parts I have listed on eBay and when they have been listed on eBay. So yeah, as usual, follow me on Facebook, TikTok and Instagram to keep right up to date with what I get up to. But yeah, I am going to end this video here. Massive thanks as always to everyone who's tuned in. Do give it a thumbs up and a share if you thought it was any good. If not, feel free to give it a thumbs down as usual. Check the links in the description to follow me on all the other social media platforms. My email address is down there as usual for anyone who wants to contact me. I'll leave a link to my website and the Petrolhead Style website in the description. Definitely go and check out both of those websites. Huge thanks as always to my patrons for your ongoing support. But other than that, until next time, from me and my beautiful girlfriend Kat, thanks for watching.